to admit it was up late quite last night.
Yeah, you're into the rugby this year.
Well, yes, indeed. Well, it was. It's the Rugby World Cup. People should be watching and celebrating it.
Excited about the oval ball.
Well, indeed. I mean, and all the big nations are in the game. So,
Yes, all 4 of us.
Mm.
All right. And other exciting news tonight, Chris, or today in this podcast, we're on video.
We are, and you can tell we're on video because we're slightly less polished than usual. I've just watched myself have a drink on YouTube, which is interesting.
Well, who knew you drink like that, eh?
Well, I certainly didn't.
So, yes, we've added to our many multimedia channels, YouTube.
Yeah, indeed. And what is it? It's live streamed, but because nobody is really up at this time of night in New Zealand, it's you can play it back afterwards.
Yeah. So it's going to be out there. So that means we need to add more to our disclaimer.
Do we?
Yes. So we need to say that the opinions and ideas shared in this site and this podcast are our own entirely and not to do with anyone we work for or work with. And that we now get to add things you see are entirely our own.
So if we hold up screen, signs or something, that kind of thing, is that what you mean?
Pretty much. And I'm also playing with a little bit of dual camera technology.
Sure. What does that mean, Mark?
It means you can see me in this view, or you could see me in this view. But if you're listening, you can't see me at all. Maybe that's better.
I think that is better.
Right. So yeah, we're a little bit stilted because we're looking at ourselves for the first time. It really is like staring into a mirror.
It is, and I mean, people are going to, come for the news and stay for the eye candy, Mark. That's for sure.
Right, of course they are, Chris. Ah, dear. So we've got an exciting show. Thank you for listening to it. We have lots of news.
Well, we always have lots of news, Mark. Goes without saying.
Newstastic. And we have some great export to shapefile.
Oh, of course.
And we also have, that's about it, actually.
Sure.
We're what do you call it? We're quite excited by the live streaming, but also quite overwhelmed. So,
I think overwhelmed is a fair description. You notice that everything you do is suddenly, going out there, and you're wondering why, Mark, why?
Well, and people also be looking in your wardrobe behind you, Chris, and going, "Why, Chris? Why?"
Yeah, but that's just like one of those spare wardrobes you have where it's a suit that I haven't worn in decades. It's
that orangey pink dressy number.
Yeah, I haven't worn that in ages. Although, who knows?
Who knows? So yeah, and again, thanks so much for people getting in touch with us. We really do appreciate your letters, and now we'll get comments in YouTube, which is probably something we've tried to avoid before.
But you'll see from our YouTube, there's so many ways to get in touch. There's Geodorable at Gmail, facebook.com/Geodorable. We're MyGeodorable on Twitter. We're MyGeodorable on Instagram. And if you really want to, you can go to www.geodorable.com.
Yeah, and that sounds supertastic.
Should we do some news, Mark?
Yeah, we need to.
Spatial news.
Chris, there's nothing better than being off the grid. The open campfire, the lack of hot water, the not being able to cook things very quickly or reheat them in the microwave.
Always burning them slightly because you forgot the non-stick frying pan. In fact, you forgot the frying pan. You're just using kind of a billy can. Anyway.
You've maybe carved one out of wood.
Wouldn't be burning that, but yeah.
Yeah. But you only cook in the embers, Chris. Remember that. Don't cook in the flames.
No. True.
And Esri have followed off the grid with ArcGIS Pro editing.
They have now, you've been able to go off grid or, take things offline on the likes of, Collector for a while now. And things have been updated with ArcGIS Pro, so you can take your license offline, and now you can take all the data that you need offline as well.
Yeah, so they're using a SQLite database. I'm not quite sure why, as you've just listed off 3 different products from Esri that will go offline anyway. But if you do want to take your laptop into the field and run ArcGIS Pro, you can do it.
Yeah, and as you've tried to make it easy, so there's a couple of buttons, you press a couple of buttons, and it kind of sucks everything down into your SQLite database, takes the license off, and you're good to go. That's not too shabby, I reckon.
It does feel like a bit of Back to the Future when we're going, well, we used to do this with ArcMap, and now we can do it with Arc Pro, but
Sure,
slightly more convenient.
And so if you're listening to this, know that if you're watching it, you can actually see the web pages that we talk about. That's the beauty of YouTube, I guess.
Yeah, so you can read what we're reading.
Or at least see the pictures anyway.
Yeah.
Spatial news.
And Chris, well, you love a good story map.
I do love a good story map, and a good story map is something quite beautiful to behold, I think.
Right, and so Esri have released a more customizable story map.
Yeah,
maker.
so well, you've always been able to customize your story maps if you kind of download them and get into the code, and if you do that, you can do some really, really nice things with story maps. But I guess not everybody wants to download the code, so Esri have just try to make things a little easier. And so there's now a design panel that you can use to kind of change the look and feel of your story map.
Yeah, they've added some buttons.
Well, more buttons, more fun.
Yes, of course. And so, you can go through and do some more customization. You can obviously still do all the coloring and that sort of thing.
Yeah. It's just it's trying to make things a little bit more special for the person who's viewing your story map, I guess.
Spatial news.
And speaking of story maps and data, well, it's actually an app, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah.
A hurricane awareness app.
Yeah, so this is from the ArcGIS Living Atlas. It's specifically for the US. US only. Perhaps there aren't hurricanes in other parts of the world, but
I don't think there are, according to our news.
No, that's possibly not. But it's the Hurricane Aware application, and it will show you the current path of any hurricane threatening the US, and also show you the predicted path of the hurricane. Managing to do all of which without a black marker pen.
That's quite good. I thought when you said it's a hurricane indication app, you sort of put it on your phone, hold it outside, and then if the phone blows away, you've got a hurricane.
Yeah, it's pretty good indication that you have. Yeah.
If you stuck ArcGIS tracker in it, then you could monitor the hurricane as it takes your phone.
Sorry, just drinking again. A little bit of a dry throat, but we were shouting at the TV quite a lot last night.
Well, after last week's Asahi Dry sponsorship, which wasn't.
Which wasn't, unfortunately. This week, it's a little less exciting. I'm sponsored by chamomile tea. God, we are.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I was really, with that shirt, Chris, I was really hoping you wouldn't go into the hipster tea and be like an Earl Grey or something, but...
Oi, this is my Swan Dry shirt. This is sponsored by... Oh, no, we're not. Yeah, leave it alone. It's nice. I like it.
Spatial news.
Now, 2 great powers of the mapping world, Chris. Mapbox and Esri.
They collide.
They collide like some sort of collidotron.
Wow. Yes, indeed. So for a little while now, I think you've been able to ingest your ArcGIS data into Mapbox. And now, through the magic of magic, you can ingest Mapbox into Esri.
Yeah, so Mapbox are obviously making a bit of a play for the data space.
Yeah. After our story about their goings on in Japan a couple of weeks back, I think last episode was it?
Yeah. So you can bring in your Mapbox data, but just to be clear, you bring in your WMTS into it rather than directly as some sort of vector or raster feed.
Yeah, sure. But if you think back, a few years ago, traditional GIS was dead, and the new kids on the block, the Mapboxes, the Cartos, and so forth, they were all going to do it by themselves, and now they're Mapbox at least is playing nicely without GIS.
Well, yeah. The other interesting thing is something we've discussed at work is the trying to make a consistent base map across multiple systems. And this is one step closer that I could use a Mapbox or Esri base map inside my Mapbox or Esri app, which is quite nice.
That is quite nice.
It's amazing how people are confused by a different satellite image of this same thing just taken at different times.
Yep, totally. Yeah.
Spatial news.
Now, Chris, what is your favorite song to sing when you're thinking about DC comic heroes and making a map?
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can.
Sure, but you could say Spider Map.
I could, but I'm just not as thoughtful as you are. Maybe you should sing a little song to our listeners.
Not at this stage. We're broadcasting enough as it is. But yeah, considering the next item was a spider map, I thought it was in the title for you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm tired. Still tired.
Right. So the amazing spider map.
The Amazing Spider-Man, a map style inspired by the Amazing Spider-Man, released in Mapbox. 2 Mapbox stories in one day, Mark.
Yeah, and what was the song again, Chris?
It wasn't.
All right. The Medicine Draper has, for some reason, done a Spider-Man themed map, and this is the red and blue and yellow Spider-Man. In case you're wanting clarification. Not the black and white, black and silver.
Spider-Man. Yeah. Nobody knows what you're talking about, Mark. Everybody just knows it's the red and the blue.
They do not. Feel free to write your complaints at many of our social contacts. But what is interesting, I like especially about the theme. I mean, the colors are quite cool, but I like the font.
The font is pretty stunning. Yep.
It is. It actually does it for me. The colors are good. The font is fantastic.
The other thing that the designer has done is they have put the words "the amazing" in front of every country. So, the amazing New Zealand, the amazing Australia, the amazing United Kingdom, the amazing United States, etc., etc. It's quite cool. I like it.
Yeah. So, if you're looking, I don't know quite how you'd use this, but I'm sure there is an application. But yeah, if you're wanting to put something fun and funky into your Monday, maybe use a spider map.
Well, if you were, say, doing a DC or Marvel story map, you could then drop in your Mapbox Spider-Man style map
as a WMTS.
Yeah, it's cool, eh?
It is.
Spatial news.
Now, Chris, you have achieved a lot in your life.
Many, many, many wonderful things, Mark.
You've presented at conferences. You've written papers.
Definitely.
You've judged competitions on maps.
Sure.
Yeah. But yet there's something missing.
There are many things missing from my life, Mark, but this is the top of the tree. It's getting into the 2020 Geo Hipster calendar.
Yeah, actually, just side note, have you ever been in the Esri map book?
Maybe.
Maybe you don't know. Is that not it framed behind you?
No, well, I don't know if I have personally, but I definitely know company I've worked for has been.
I believe I have.
Have you? What was your map?
Couldn't remember.
Okay, brilliant. Can't have been that memorable.
It was quite a long time ago, and been alive for quite a long time.
As the listeners can now clearly see, yeah, or watchers.
Thanks. So the GeoHipster calendar is a calendar of maps, but it sounds more exciting than that because the maps are cool. Like this cheese one they've got as an example.
Yeah, so a map of Great Britain with the relevant local cheeses placed geographically, or pretty geographically correctly on the map. It's yeah, nice.
I can't help feel, Chris, it's just missing some cheeses.
It probably is.
Is there no cheese? Is it around? I want to say Manchester.
I don't know.
You would have thought there was. The English love their cheeses.
We do, but I can't think of a particular Mancunian cheese.
Okay.
Listeners, viewers, if you know of a Mancunian cheese, we'd be delighted to hear about it.
And there's also not many cheeses in Wales, it turns out, which I would have thought would be unusual.
There's Caerphilly, and after that, I'm out.
You are such an English snob when it comes to cheese.
No, I'm not a snob. I'm just saying that's the only one I can think of. There's probably others. I remember the true story. When I was younger, my parents bringing home cheese from somewhere, and it was that really stinky cheese, like Monk's Head stinky cheese.
Okay, better than a Stilton.
Oh, you had to keep it in a box outside. That's how bad it was. You couldn't have it in the house.
Awesome.
Yeah, I didn't actually eat it because I was a kid, and kids don't eat anything that disgusting. But yeah.
Speaking of cheeses, my family brought me the stinkiest, bluest cheese they could find in the supermarket. Apparently, cheeses are numbered. I didn't know this. This was a 6 on the stinky, cheesy level.
Did you eat it?
I ate most of it. It didn't taste very good. I normally like a really good stinky cheese. I'm more into it, but it wasn't the smell that put you off. It was just taste wasn't great.
So I think our next podcast should just be the cheese podcast, Mark.
Maybe, although it doesn't sound like we're actually that experienced at cheeses. We just like them.
Yeah, true. Some would say the same about your ass, Mark, but let's move on.
Spatial news.
Now, sad news, Chris.
Yeah, sad news.
The Society of Cartographers. Cartographers?
Cartographers, I think we can go with.
How else do people say that word?
I think they only ever say it once.
Right. Okay. So the Society of Cartographers has merged. It's actually merged.
Well, yeah, kind of.
Well, it's dissolved, and
it's
moving into the other one.
Yeah. But it is sad, right? So I mean, I don't know how many cartographic societies you actually need. I think these were both based in the UK, and the Society of Cartographers dissolved and joined, I think, the British Society of Cartographers.
No, the British Cartographic Society.
That's what I said, Mark. That's what I said.
Right.
If you play that back, you'll definitely hear that's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just interesting. I would have thought cartography was taking off more with data visualization.
Was it? Is the amazing spider map? Is that cartography?
Of course, Chris.
Okay, just wondering, just checking in. Sad news.
Spatial news.
Now, Chris, today we use money.
Mm-hmm.
But back when you were growing up,
yep.
what did your parents used to pay their landlord in?
Well, of course they used eels, Mark.
Of course.
Yeah.
So we have a fantastic map about the eel rents of London, England.
Of England, yeah.
And this is about eels in England.
Well, Mark, so look, I'm going to have to explain it. Break it down for you, right? Okay. So in the olden days, which was, I believe, just before Days of Yore, you didn't necessarily pay for your rent using money. You might agree with your landlord that you would provide them with some form of livestock. So if you are a dairy farmer, perhaps you were providing stinky cheese or milk. If you're a sheep farmer, maybe wool or mutton or lamb. And if you just happen to be an eel fisherman, then eels was what you'd pay your landlord in.
I see.
And what they've done with this map is they have gone back through some original rental documents from the from the late 10th century through to the 15th century. So, yeah, I think that is yesteryear. Or is it days of? I think that's days of yore. Actually, officially, that's days of yore.
It's a good thing we're not a history podcast.
Sure. And they went through these records and they identified where and often how many eels you would have to pay to live in the property.
Yeah, and some exciting densities of eels, Chris. Now, do you like a jelly eel? Jellied eel?
I like eel. I can't say I've ever eaten jellied eel. So
no, I've never sat in a pub and gone, I think I'll have a jellied eel.
No, true.
Sometimes a kebab.
No, it's always after the pub. You're never in a pub going, I want a kebab. It's always after the pub. Really?
No, I've been in a pub going, I want a kebab before I get to the next pub.
Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
So some interesting places that are relevant to us, Chris, is that the density of the eels are most densest on the fens.
Mm-hmm.
And the fens are around the Cambridgeshire. What else is up there? Other parts of England.
The fens are kind of heading into Norfolk, yeah.
Yeah. And that's disappointing because I used to live in Cambridge and it never really got spoken of.
No, maybe not.
I never got offered a pie and mash and jellied eel.
But did you ever pay your landlord meals?
No, we used the pound.
Oh, okay. Well,
or the quid.
I would say actually eels are probably going to be a better currency the way Brexit's going.
It is, but if you've seen the River Cam, you really don't want to eat anything that comes out of that.
No, maybe not. Other interesting eel facts: the city of Ely, which is a place in England, so named obviously after eels. True.
Yeah, and again, disappointing. I've been to Ely a few times, and I never knew that.
Well, there you go.
I feel like my visits there are somewhat emptier.
I feel as though perhaps we've been discussing eel rents for a little bit too long, and we should move on.
Okay, then.
Although, actually, we've got nothing to move on to because that is the end of the news, Mark.
Good call, Chris.
Thank you.
We're going to do, are we going to do topic of the week?
Well, topic of the week. Topic of the week is basically the fact that for reasons best known to, I'm not quite sure why, we are live streaming this as well as recording it. So that makes for, I don't know, is it going to make it more difficult for our listeners to listen along, or do you think they'll just switch to the new medium that is video blogging or vlogging?
Oh, I think we're just multi-medium.
Oh, we?
As opposed to just being average.
I've always thought I've been a little bit small, but I'm fine being medium.
Or multi-medium now. Yeah, and so we've also spent, I don't know, 12 plus hours. No, it's more than that now. Maybe about 15 hours trying to get to this point with technology. It's harder than we thought.
Yeah, sure. Although I am quite amazed that we can stream for free. At least I haven't been billed for this yet. This is our second attempt at streaming. The other one, it didn't quite work.
And this one may not either.
Well, this one might, but then people aren't going to know, right?
I hope not. But also, it means we can get sponsored by so many more people.
Because we're more of a visual medium now, of course.
We are. And we can describe things in words and show things in pictures.
Words and pictures. Gosh, we're like the new modern, I don't know, modern something.
We're modern something. And we're still getting over the fact we can see each other.
I know, which is very weird because you're what, 200k, something like that, 150 of.
Well, I thought you were going to say just in the dark ages because I live in the back of nowhere. But
Well, you do, but it's a nice place.
it is.
You have trees, which is really cool, and
Yeah, we also have a beach.
yeah,
Neither of which trees or beach will help you in the winter, but hey, at least they're there.
it's nice.
Yeah, so that's our topic of the week. We're on video. Way.
Yeah, exciting. So we're going to kind of round out the podcast with obviously a game of export to shapefile because that's the way we like to do things around here, I guess.
That is how we roll.
Export to shapefile.
Chris, export to shapefile, the game where we navigate around the Esri toolbox toolset, trying to push and prod our opponent into different spaces using different tools until they finally give up and say export to shapefile, which is the most basic of all tools available to the Esri toolset.
Yeah, I reckon nobody ever understands quite what that means, but hopefully now that you can watch how this is played as well as listen to it, you're going to get a better idea. So, Mark, who's serving?
You are serving, Chris.
Okay, get into the mindset. I am a little tired, so if this doesn't go my way, I'm blaming it that. Divide, Mark, divide. That's from the 3D Analyst extension.
Okay. Am I trying to second guess you too much? Is that an aggressive attacking move or just a passive attacking move? But I will bat you away with add files to that starter set.
Add files to last data set. Data management. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep on at you, Mark. Reclass by table again. 3D Analyst.
Reclass by table. Well, will you learn your lesson? Consolidate result from data management as well.
Just defense from you at the moment, Mark.
It is, but I feel like I'm just toying with you. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, corridor, Mark. Corridor, special analyst. Boom.
Okay. That's 3 attacking moves on the go, Chris. But I just feel, just not feeling the energy from you.
Well, I'm tired.
All right. I'm going to go with diagnose vision metadata.
Interesting. Tin compare.
Tin compare. Oh no, are you scrambling, Chris? It just feels.
I'm not scrambling. I'm just
feels.
Just warming down, maybe.
Okay. How about we go for thin from Special Analyst toolset, just to spice things up a little bit for you.
Nice attacking move there, Mark. Get count.
Oh, did you mean to go that basic?
Yeah, it was defensive. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. All right. We'll go for line statistics.
Another special analyst move, Mark.
Yeah, that's turning up the heat, putting on the pressure.
Clip.
Adding clip. Okay. Fine then. Add field to analysis layer.
Oh, that's a nice move, Mark. On a different day, I might try and do something with it, but I'm I'm just a little bit tired. So export to shapefile, Mark.
Wow, that was short and sweet. I mean, victory's victory, right?
Well, it's a hollow victory, I think. It's kind of
Well,
like beating a one-legged man in a Highland jump, or so. I don't know.
oh wow, you're really trying to put yourself down, but face it, you lost.
I lost, yeah, fine. But you can be magnanimous in victory, I'm sure.
No, I'm a bad winner.
Okay, cool.
I can, it's good to know things about yourself.
Well, Mark, what would you recommend that we do better next time?
On the podcast?
Sure.
Probably need a topic of the week. What we should do is line up some exciting guests. But Chris, we do have some exciting guests coming.
Fabulous, Mark. Are we going to tell anybody who they are?
No.
Okay, cool.
No, you have to keep listening.
Well, that's just a given, surely.
Well, keep watching would be the other one.
Well, start watching would be,
Yeah.
the first one. Yeah.
But as we always say, we love hearing from you. We really do appreciate the comments and the thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And so just keep those coming in. Get us on the Twitter, on the Insta, on the Facebook, on the YouTube.
Yeah. What do people do on YouTube? Leave comments.
Yeah.
Oh dear, really?
Yeah. Feel free to compliment Chris on his shirt.
It's a nice shirt. It's a proper New Zealand shirt. I've gone all out. In my first episode, I'm, wearing Kiwi.
Great.
What are you wearing? I mean, look at that boring blue hoodie. Man, your age should not be wearing a hoodie.
It's better than my caddy.
I'm not sure it is, actually.
Thanks. Well, so we've gone from history and now we've gone to fashion. This is why we're doing this. It's just diversifying.
Fashion of wear, Mark.
It is. Or where's the fashion?
Yeah, I think that's more accurate. But shall we say goodbye?
Yeah, we're looking forward to your comments on YouTube. We love hearing from you, and we'll catch you later.